right, so we're here with Dan Oakes, and we're talking about how social media and how cell phone use affects adolescents. And Dan, we thought we could ask you about how, specifically, how adolescents are affected by social media and cell phone when it comes to sexuality.
So there's sort of this overarching idea in society that, you know, demonizing pornography is a moralistic thing. And I don't mean to downplay the moralistic side of it, because that's valuable to a lot of people. But what you're saying, it sounds like, is it's not really just a moralistic thing. There's something physiologically going on here, in addition to maybe the spiritual or moral or whatever stuff that you might want to talk about.
Absolutely, and the research is really present. There's debate about that research in the field a little bit, but it really comes from socialistic types. But the brain scientists, there's no debate for them. Yeah. They see the brain change, they understand, and they see the differences.
There's clinical studies that show the brain chemistry is changing under these conditions.
Yeah, and that's
hyperstimulation.
Right, and that hyperstimulation is really a key factor, because the exaggeration of what they see digitally is so beyond what's real. You know, there was a researcher in the 70s named Nico Tinbergen that did studies with animals, and he was trying to measure what attracted them. And the famous study is he put these butterflies in a cage and he made a fake female, but he made it twice as big and twice as bright, but he did put the exact pattern of the female on the fake butterfly, and he puts it in the enclosure, and all the males flock to it and are stuck to it. And who do they ignore? Right? They ignore
the real females.
The real females, right? So porn is like this. Porn is a super normal stimulant. The women and men in it, the people in it, are exaggerated versions of what humans look like.
Most of us look like, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so our brain is attuned to those shapes and forms, but then when we get that shape and form in an exaggerated way, and you get it 300 times a minute, then it produces excessive dopamine, which is exactly what's at the beginning of all addictions.
Yeah,
is excessive dopamine.
And so I kind of see where this is going down the road. If you've been conditioned to respond to this superhuman, then in real life, again, it's kind of like the video game thing. Real life's boring compared to
absolutely.
There's no beauty in a sunset if you've conquered the world 300 times.
This is an epidemic. I have to tell you, in my private practice, from couples who first get married, when the boy has an extensive, or the young man has an extensive history of pornography, it's shocking to him how quickly he is unable to be aroused to his normal real wife.
So he can't have a real intimate relationship with one person because it's just a sunset.
Right, and where does it leave her? It leaves her in a place where she feels undesired or not wanted, and she thinks, well, what's wrong with me? And it takes them time to work that out, for him to recognize that's even the issue.
Yeah. Right.
Not to mention people who are later in years and have been in pornography their whole life. I mean, they're experiencing erectile dysfunction, porn-induced erectile dysfunction, earlier than we've ever seen in the history of mankind.
Again, you can't get aroused at the sunset,
right?
The normal beauty, because you're so accustomed to this hyperstimulation.
Absolutely.
Wow.